Good morning. Happy Monday. This week is, wait for it, drum roll. It's catch up week. That's right. This week is your chance to go out and catch up on any of your missing assignments, any of your opportunities that you know you've started but you haven't quite completed yet, just anything you're a little behind on. As far as anything new this week, you will only have one new assignment in Schoology. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. And there will be no assessment this week. So to start off with, it would be just easiest for you if you go out to PowerSchool and see what's missing. Obviously, everything is not in PowerSchool, right? Yet, I haven't been able to, grade everything, comment on everything, give the feedback, and put the scores in. But you know what's missing, and night is all in there for sure. And I've started with some of the Is Survival Selfish. Your memoirs are all in there. So you would have something at least to get started on. I will continue, of course, grading this week to get everything else in. But everything's on my website. So I have here what you have done so far. So ask yourself, have I read night? Did I do the 2 assignments with night? Did I do the assessment and complete the quiz with night in Schoology? If not, I better go do that. Is survival selfish? Did I read that argument? Did I answer the questions? Did I do the vocabulary assignment in Schoology? Did I complete the constructed response on arguments? And with my TED Talk, did I actually go out and watch a TED Talk, view my TED Talk? My memoir, did I write a memoir and submit a memoir? You know if you've done these things even without checking PowerSchool. If you've never heard of Is Survival Selfish, you're like, oh, I better go out and read that. Everything is sent to you. Remember, every Monday in an email, I send you the module sheet attached and any resources you might need. And of course, you can always go to my website. That's where everything is at. It's one easy location for you with one click to get what you need. Your yo-yo reading, remember you needed to send me your reading log. So if you haven't done that yet, you know you need to do that. You will start a new reading log this week. We'll talk about that here in just a moment with the module sheet. And then you were also needing to send me your quick writes. Those are just quick little 3-minute writes every single day. And you were to send those to me last week. So if you haven't done anything that's listed here, even without checking PowerSchool, you'd be like, oh, I need to go do that. So you would want to get on that. Remember, your assignments are in Schoology. All of your discussion is anonymously posted in Turnitin.com, so you can read and reply to your peers and hopefully have really good discussions about what we've been learning about. Let's look at your module sheet this week. Let's start with that. I'll pull up the English 1 module sheet. This was sent to you this morning in an email as an attachment. I'm not going to read it to you. I don't want to insult you. I know you can read. It basically just says what I already went over. But I do want you to pay attention here. You will start your new May reading log. So I still want you reading because it's really going to help you with your final project that we'll talk about. However, you do not to complete your quick writes any longer. You no longer will be doing your daily quick writes. All of your writing from here on out, your future quick writes, will be assignments that I'll give you with specific, sometimes they'll be individualized, but specific intent, leading you to really prepare you for your final project. So don't worry about doing that anymore during the daytime on your own. Okay, that'll just be an assignment if I give it to you. But the reading log, I do want you still doing. Remember, that's just 10 minutes, 12 if you're inclined, but 10 to 12 minutes of just your reading, just like we did in class all year long. So that's all you're going to continue doing there. Like I said, the only assignment you have this week is just one assignment. It'll be due on Thursday, and it's going to be directly connected to this final project, which of course won't be due until June, but we'll get started on it today, just planning and communicating what it is you're thinking about that. So that's all you have this week. There's no assessment, there's no other assignment. Just be catching up and working on your reading. If you look at, so the weekly schedule here is just what I just said, and then office hours this week. If you have questions, please come to the live online Zoom conferences if you can. Tuesday through Friday, they're at 10 to 10:50, where everyone can come in. And then between 1 and 1:50, and then 7 at 7:50 at night, I'm going to be doing more one-on-one conferences or small group conferences because each of your individual reading projects, these final projects, right? Everyone read a different book. So we're going to be, needing to have more one-on-one conversations probably. So if you want to contact me, I'll set you up with a meeting ID number and you can come in and Zoom in with me in just small groups or one-on-one. So it won't be a whole class discussion. If you can't meet between 1 and 150 or 7 and 750, just let me know in the email what time does work for you and I'll try to make it work as long as I don't have any other meetings or commitments at that time. Right, so that's your module sheet this week. Honor students, the only difference you have this week is I do need you'll notice on your module sheet, I want you to go check your Springboard assignments. Some of you didn't submit those last week in Schoology. And you have an extra video lesson on Wednesday regarding those short stories. I want to walk you through the comments and the feedback. So you'll tune in on Wednesday and we'll go over that. All right, let's go ahead and get started with looking at our memoirs. You all submitted a memoir. They have been graded. I've provided the feedback, and Turnitin.com sends you an email that tells you it's graded. They're also in PowerSchool. So you'll note if you have a 0 there, then I didn't get your memoir and I didn't get to read it and put comments on it. But I want to walk you through, how do I read the comments? How do I know how I scored on the rubric? That's what we're going to do next. Obviously, you'll go to your Turnitin.com account, you'll look in your assignment inbox. But then what you want to do is find that memoir assignment and click View. And I'm going to walk you through that here. You read the comments and then see the rubric score. That will be a 5-point assignment. I can tell when you've read it. As an instructor, it gives me an alert. I get a notification and it tells me if you read it and how long you spent reading it. So if you just click it and click out, you won't get your points. It tells me if you clicked on each comment and if you clicked the rubric. So I want you looking at the feedback. That's how you develop as a writer. You focus on what you're doing well. You continue doing that. You pay attention to the areas in which you need to improve so that you can grow as a writer, especially in the area that we were focusing on. In this case, that personal narrative writing, sensory imagery, developing and working in a logical progression. So just going out and viewing the feedback on the rubric is a 5-point assignment. It will not be due till the end of the month. That way you have all month to go do it and spend, it'll take you probably 5 minutes to go do that. So here's how we do that. You need to, like I said, you go to your Turnitin.com account. I'm in mine right now as a student. And then this is my assignment inbox. It says that right there. Then I'm going to find memoir. So I'll click view. And then once it loads, it takes a moment here. And I can then see that I earned a 35 out of 50, but I might want to know why, right? So that's a fine score. A C is a good grade, but I might want to know, what do I need to do in the future, or what did I do well, and what do I need to do to improve that score if I were to write a narrative again, or really any writing I'm going to get the feedback here on. So I click on these blue bubbles. This says not MLA format. And I click on this blue bubble. It says you need a title. Try something catchy that has a direct connection to your topic or theme. Okay. Click on this blue and it says you need an attention grabber. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh man. Then I scroll down. Anything in purple is all of my, think of our mugs, right? It's our mechanics, our usage, our grammar, our structure. Then, so I look at those. It says proofread. It's a part of a sentence. There's a misspelling. My meaning is unclear. This is a comma error. This is an article error. So if you just click on them, there are little blurbs there that will help you understand what you needed to do. Here's another blue bubble. So I want to read this. And it says provide details and examples here. You need to create sensory imagery. That was our task. That's how we develop personal narrative writing. We create those images, paint a picture with our words. And then it says solid conclusion. So I did that well. I wrapped it up nicely. I also can read any overarching comments that the teacher provided for me here. It says, super student, you have a great start here, but always read the how-to sheet and the rubric carefully before submitting any final draft or project. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to do that. So I know in the future I want to do that. To view the rubric, how the scoring worked, I click View Rubric, and it will load. And once it loads, it'll just show me here that I can enlarge this. So not yet, developing. Proficient means pretty good. Excellent means, of course, excellent. You did better than what I even thought. So I did not earn any excellence, which is okay. I'm going to keep working as a writer. I'm going to keep, developing my craft. That's the whole point of writing. I can see as my elements were pretty weak. I didn't really have a clear feeling or emotion or moment that I chose. I didn't have a lot of sensory details and descriptiveness. I was proficient in organization. That means I met, the basic expectation, and I could still work on, being possibly more well developed, but I did all right. Same thing with my tone and my purpose. We talked a lot about author's purposes to inform, persuade, entertain, all of those. Did I try some rhetorical strategies that we'd worked on, the parallelism, repetition, allusion, or not? And then my conventions. You saw I had lots of purple, which just means I needed to proofread a little bit better. But it didn't impede the meaning, and I did all right. So that's how I look at my rubric and my comments when I'm in that Turnitin feedback studio. So let's talk about, once I've checked that memoir, I know that what I've done as a writer, and I know what I need to do in the future. Then I can move on and think about, when I write again in the future, which I'll get an opportunity to do as I head into my final project of the year. So this year, you will be completing a final literary project, but you will not take a final per se, like we did at the first semester. There will not be a final exam for English 1. You will instead choose a book that you have read this semester from your reading log that you sent me, any book at all that you have completed on that log. Now, if you haven't completed a book yet, that's okay. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Remember, you're reading 10 to 12 minutes every day, but some of you have really long books, and so you may not have completed that book, which is totally okay. As long as you get, I would say, you're almost finished, you're at least 3/4 of the way through, you will still be able to do this project. We'll talk about, how that starts here in just a minute. Look down here at this attention, please. If you did not complete your yo-yo reading assignment during quarter 3 or 4, then you must email me, because you are going to get the short story that I will send you, that every freshman is going to be analyzing in place of your yo-yo book. So you email me and say, Mrs. P, I didn't do any reading. I didn't do my yo-yo assignment or my reading log. Yikes, what do? I need the short story, please. I will send that to you, so you will have something to complete your project on, so you don't have to worry about not being able to do your final project. But you must email me. I cannot read your mind. I can't even read your facial expressions if you look clueless right now, or worried, or stressed. So I need you to communicate to me. So that means you have to email me and let me know. Part of your assignment this week, you'll notice when you go to Schoology, it will tell you that. Like, if it'll say, if you can't do this, you must do this. So it'll make sense when you get there. This project will include the 5 elements of fiction, which you know: character, setting, plot, theme, point of view. You know plot development. You know significant quotes. You know how to do MLA citation. We worked on that when we did our Animal Farm work. You know how to make those connections. Think about what we did with your literature circles. How do you connect to other pieces of literature? What's going on in the world, your personal life? Literary elements. That's going to include, it might include some of this plot development here, about the climax, or it could be powerful word choice. It can be sensory imagery. It could be similes and metaphors, suspense. Think about characterization, symbolism, conflict. And yeah, the conflict is developed in that rising action of plot development. But think about very specifically with the conflict. Was it internal? Was it external? If it's external, what type of external conflict it was? Was it man versus world, man versus technology? And we'll move into that here in the next couple of weeks. But that's what will be on your final project. And so just think, I know all this, right? All I have to do is to communicate to Mrs. P that I know it with my own book that I got to pick and I'm pretty comfortable with. Your final project will be your choice. You will choose one of these 4 options. And you don't have to, if you choose this week when I ask you in Schoology and you change your mind, that's okay. But I want you to be, start planning things out so it's not an end of the semester, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I'm developing this every week to do a little bit, and then there won't be a lot to do that final week. You'll really just click submit. So you can complete a 1-pager, which I'll show you here in a minute. Those are more of the creative options. They're more artistic in nature. If that's not your jam, then you'll do a Google Slides just like this presentation is, or a PowerPoint presentation. You could use Prezi. We did that earlier in the year. You could create an audio presentation in the form of a podcast, which I'll give you an example of next week. Or if you're more along the lines of you like to write the papers and do the research, there'll be a 5-page literary analysis paper option that you can choose that will be, of course, required in MLA format. And I would give you the template and the rubric to help and guide you on that. You just want to think like, where are my strengths? Where are my interests? How do I want to demonstrate to Mrs. P that I know and understand literature? Am I going to go with option 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which one do I think will fit my learning style the best and my ability to communicate the best? So this week, you only have one assignment, like I said, and this is what it is. It's just step 1. We're just going to plan. You will let me know what option are you leaning towards. That's from back here. Which option do you lean toward? And then you'll let me know what title and what author of book that you're working on. So I start to have an idea when I put together when I told you how you're going to sign up for one-on-one or small group Zoom conferences, I can put you with people, hopefully, if possible, that have, like titles or authors or genres. So think about if your genre is mystery or action or horror or realistic fiction. Is it, maybe it's nonfiction, and that's okay too. It doesn't have to be fiction. But I want to know what it is you have so I can start seeing what groups I have. And that helps me design the project more catered to you individually and not just a big blanket, all freshmen get this. Make sense? I want it to be specific for Snicklefritz and Hankster and all of their buddies. You will include this with just a basic plot summary. That's a 2 to 3 sentence gist of what your book's about, so I have an idea, because I haven't read every book in the world, obviously. Who are the characters in this piece? Your dynamic and static characters, which we've talked about this whole year. Like, which characters are the primary, your characters that are changing the most, or which characters are staying the same the most, which are your supporting characters and your leading characters. And then the basic setting. Is it, the outdoors? Is it in space? Set back in time, in the future? I just want the basic setting. You'll submit that in Schoology. It says right here, you're going to submit it in Schoology, and it will be submitted by Thursday at midnight, so I can start going over those. I mean, as they come in, I'll go over them, but I really want to make sure that, oh, I keep getting that slide thing down there, sorry. I want to make sure that I can read them and know where people are at. I'm making a overall spreadsheet so I know who's doing what. As you can imagine, with 100 kids, they're all individualized finals. It takes me a while to start plugging people and knowing what they're doing. And that way, when you come in with questions, I can help you better. So get those into Schoology by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. All right, that is it. If you have questions, you know how to find me. I look forward to seeing you in office hours this week or hearing from you via email. Have fun. Enjoy the reading. Enjoy the sunshine. Get out there in the fresh air. Get ready to spoil your moms this weekend with Mother's Day coming up. Hint, hint, in case you didn't know or forgot, there's your gentle reminder. Write a poem, write a story, make a meme for your mom, or a TikTok dance or something for your mom. Make it a special day for her. especially since many of your moms or grandmothers or stepmoms or have been really helping you in this at-home learning environment. So make sure you let them know that you appreciate them. All right. I am going to close now. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great week. Bye.